What's going on, guys? I'm Florian Kohler, 11 times Guinness World Record holder and also league operator for APA in Las Vegas. Today we're going to talk about how to get you from a 4 to a 5. Let's do it. This comment from Martin G is perfect to get us started here on the new topic. He says the following: learn the tangent line and how it can be manipulated. Once the concept is learned, you know exactly what the path of your cue ball is, making position play much easier to execute. I honestly truly believe this is what's going to make you go from a skill level 4 to a skill level 5. So what exactly is a tangent? Now, a lot of people, even higher skill level, they kind of feel what it is, but they don't really know, truly explain what a tangent line is. So let me give you the definition first. So the tangent line is the line followed by the cue ball, the perpendicular line followed by the cue ball after impact on the object ball. Okay, so if I go straight up, of course, you know, the tangent is basically just the stop shot here. Now if I go a little bit of an angle, so imagine again that we're going to have this ghost ball right there, something like this. That would be your tangent line, right? So that's the perpendicular line between the impact and then there. Now, here we go. I'm going to move my cue ball a little bit. And again, we're going to do the same concepts, right? We follow the impact here, and then we draw our perpendicular line. As you can see, this one is going straight for the corner. I won't lie to you, it was made on purpose, all right? So we exactly have the cue ball line up to make the red here on the side, cue ball scratch in the corner. So let's see what it does. Obviously, you have to hit as much as the natural force and angle as possible, at least to get this natural tangent line. I'm going to shoot it, so medium force, just like that. So as you can see, I scratched and I already knew it. So by knowing where your tangent is going, you can predict where your cue ball is going, right? Now this is all great, but if you're going to scratch and you don't know how to avoid that, that's going to be a problem. So how do we modify that tangent? Well, there are a few things that come into play. You can shoot it softer, you can shoot it harder, you can shoot it lower, or you can shoot it higher on the cue ball, so draw or follow. So let's start with shooting softer. Now obviously, if I shoot soft here, I won't even have a problem, I won't even reach there. However, if I shoot it softer as well, you can see my tangent is going to go a little forward as well. If I shoot it harder, usually it follows the tangent even better, if not just slightly back. But this won't impact it as much if you have a lot of angle like what we have right now. However, if you're using top or bottom, it's going to impact it by a lot. So again, I put a piece of chalk, a chalk mark on the table so we have the exact same shots, so we're not cheating anything here. So if I played bottom, a lot of bottom, for example, well, actually let's start with little bottom here, just a tip below. Now as you can see, my tangent is pushing me away from the pocket, and that's just a tip of low. That's already not a lot. Now if I'm going way lower, 2 tip of English down, there we go. So now I'm nowhere near the pocket. However, it is the exact same shot. So let's keep going now with follow. Now follow, the effect is not as pronounced as far as the tangent goes, so you can't really cheat the tangent as well, but it does work. So follow is going to curve your tangent line a little bit forward. However, again, it doesn't work quite as well as the draw in my opinion. So let's see if we can avoid scratching with follow here. There we go. Now as you can see, this was a very dangerous shot. I still nearly scratched, but I did miss the scratch on the right side of the pocket here. So pretty much now what's really important as far as going into in-game situation is try to combine all those things and try to make it to get the best shape as possible into your next ball. So look at the natural tangent first, see where it brings you. If it brings you in the right spot, perfect. Adjust the speed. If it brings you in the wrong spot, make sure you avoid your problem, bottom or top, adjust, find the right speed, and keep going. Repeat the process, and truly this is going to make your position play so much better. Team D commented the following: as you look to explore English, don't forget that you have to make the shot. Quite frankly, he is right. We see that a lot. And honestly, English is one of the things that will make you go from a skill level 4 to a skill level 5. So let's talk about it. All right, so as you can see, I've got two cue balls, well, two object balls in this case, two stripes. I've got the 9 and the 11. And we're just going to explain briefly again what English is. So English is only side spin. So it would be left, something like this, right? When you can see the ball spinning like this. And then it would be the right English, just like this, right? All right, so tip right, tip left. You can go up to 2 tips on the outside, doesn't really matter. One thing that you might have not seen, we're going to let it happen this time. Here, I'm going to grab, well, actually, I'm going to use this one. So let's put the 11 there. You might not see a lot, but because we don't have a lot of distance, but it does happen. So what I'm going to try to explain to you now is that, first off, when you put English, so if I put left, this ball is going to spin this way, right? And mechanically, it's going to move the 11 the other way, right? So this is just simply mechanic properties. So when you put left spin on your object, on your cue ball, it's going to provide right spin to the object ball. So again, if I reverse the concept and I put right spin on my cue ball, I'm going to get left spin on my object ball, okay? Now that you know that, it's especially visible if you're shooting a full, for example, full left spin straight in into the 11. My 11 is going to get a touch of right spin. Now you might not see it, but it is there, and it will obviously affect the shot and affect the way the ball is going. So bottom line is, whatever you do, if you decide to go with side spin, don't put a ton or put a reasonable amount of it, because it will modify your object ball. Now the next problem with the side spin, we're going to demonstrate this one on the long way in the table. I'm going to use for that the cue ball. We're going to use exactly the dot that's here. Perfect. That way we know we are straight. If I shoot straight in with no spin exactly at the diamond, it's up there, well, the cue ball is going to be pretty much coming back straight at me, no problem. However, if I'm not putting that maximum left English, still aiming 100% for the diamond there, watch where the cue ball is going. Maximum left, right? So you can see clearly. Let's say I added a ball there to give you more perspective. I'm going to shoot it full. Again, no side spin, right? You see what it does. The ball is basically double kissing, getting out of the way. And now I'm going to shoot again, straight into the diamond, but maximum left spin. You see that? I legitimately missed the ball aiming the same spot. So bottom line is what's going to happen. Left English makes the cue ball go to the right side. Right English makes the cue ball deflect to the left side. This is what we call deflection. This is where it comes in handy when they talk about low deflection cues, for example. So low deflection cues is supposed to reduce the amount of skirt of the cue ball, okay? So if you have a cue on the cheaper side, or it's like a beginner cue, it will have more deflection than a high-end cue, obviously. Right? So all those low deflection, they are here to help you to not compensate as much when you use English. Now that you have that in mind, just remember, when you use English, use it very, I would say, very politely, right? Don't abuse of it. The cue balls are very sensitive to it. So when you shoot it, make sure you compensate well, because if you have a long shot and you're putting a lot of English, remember, your cue ball is going to deflect and you might miss your target. So anything that's more precise, hit it as much as possible with center ball. However, you can use English to your advantage. So let's grab a few balls here. Nothing too fancy, but let's say we have this shot, for example. So if I were to shoot this shot and just try to draw my cue ball somewhere in the middle of the table, right? For example, if I go straight draw here, like this, I'm going to have to force it quite a bit, right? It's going to have to be forced quite a lot. It's not going to move a lot. Now, however, if I did the same shot but with bottom left, I'm going to help the cue ball to go the way I want it to go. Well, I got a little unlucky here. Let me do it again. I hit the side of the table. Let's do one more. There we go. You can see how the spin is actually moving my cue ball further down the table. So remember, you have to use the side spin to your advantage, but an equivalent shot, if you don't have to use any side spin, do not use it because it will induce deflection. Deflection, you have to compensate, makes everything complicated, and that's not going to help you. So on the long term, try to learn to use English at the proper time. Don't abuse of it. Keep your ego aside and just play as simple as you can. Now, obviously, just tangent and side spin is not all you need to go from 4 to 5. There is a lot more goes into it, but there's so many topics we couldn't possibly cover it all. So let me just give you a few key pointers, in my opinion, that I see. So first off, at this skill level, I see a lot of people get really mad at themselves, but like very mad for missing a ball or doing the right shot. You're 4, it is normal for you to miss a ball. We do not expect you to break and run every table. You have a break and run once in a while? Of course it's possible, of course it's something you gotta work on it, but this is not a normal expectation. So make sure you don't get mad at yourself, Forget about the previous miss, focus on the current shot. Key, honestly, to go from 4 to 5 is consistency. We want you to really focus on the shot at hand, play not only the right shot, also play the easiest way to get to your next ball, so follow the natural tangent, use it as much as possible. If you have a direct shot, even if you don't like it, try to take it, stay down on your shot, follow through, get there, rather than trying a crazy 4-rail bank shot or just walking the ball really hard. Consistency is key, so of course that goes with speed. Don't overshoot everything, really take your time, roll the balls if you have to, rather than shooting hard at it. Finally, I would say the main thing I could think of for going from a 4 to 5 is quality over quantity. And I know it seems like I'm repeating a little bit from what I just said, but we do not expect you to run an entire table. So quality meaning, stay down on your shot, focus, try to make one ball after another, and the rest will come naturally together and it will work out. So here we go, guys. This is it, as far as I know, going from 4 to a 5. Once again, to close out the lesson, we got a nice drill for you. This one is using actually 10 balls. So I have the 1 through 9 here. So they exactly set up at the second diamond line right here. So you see the second diamond here, second diamond there. Got to make sure they're pretty perfect. It doesn't matter too much, but it helps. I have them in order. So 1 on the left, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then that should be my 10 ball. Let me see if I have it. There we go. I have the 10 ball here. So the key for the 10 ball is exactly at the 1 by 1 diamond. And then my cue ball, I'm going to have it exactly at 1.5 and then 2 here. So what I do is I like to use the chalk. Just mark it with the bottom like this. Make sure it's there. That way you have the same spot. Redo that for the 10 ball as well, because you will have to respot the ball. The goal of the drill is simply to make the 10 ball in the corner every time and play shape for the next ball. In order for you to go to the next ball, you got to make both the 10 ball and the object ball out there. So what the key on this shot is you're going to have to vary the English a little bit. So first, it's obviously just bottom. You go straight in for the 1, it's pretty simple. Then you go out a little bit more for the 2, a little more for the 3, a little more for the 4. And now you can see you're going to have to hit a little bit different every shot. And once you get there, ideally you even try to get this second rail here to get as safe as you can possibly. And at the end, you will notice you will need some English to really get there for the 9 ball. So very good drill. Again, you're going to have to find out what works for you. Vary the pleasure a little bit on the low and the right spin, but you should be good. Make sure, if you want to really practice that well, make sure you bring a friend. Sometimes it helps when somebody just replays the ball for you. And I find this drill to be a very good warm-up and a very good practice. One more thing, whenever you play position, if you make the ball, either the 1, the 2, the 3, or whatever it is, you cannot disturb any of the balls on this line out there when you shoot that second ball. So keep in mind, you really have to have the proper angle. Anyway, let's see what happens here and let's make the drill. That's it for today, guys. Thanks again for watching. I truly enjoy going through and finding the right ones to teach the lessons, and see you next time for another episode. Bye, everyone.